14, shut up.
What is going on?
Big ass.
Big and proud.
Yeah, as you should be. As you should be.
Y'all stop. Y'all please. This too much. Oh my God. Oh my God. You called her a bitch? Y'all tripping. This a lot. Y'all, why did I invite Shaniqua to ladies' night? I thought she was gonna come in shining bright, smiling, and having a good time, and she just ruined the night. I don't do this in public. I'm embarrassed.
Welcome to Sandra P's Gen Extra. Welcome to Sandra P's Gen Extra. Thank you so much. That was from last week. I was trying to share another one that was actually from this week. If I have it in here and I can, I will. If not, we'll just talk about it because during this recap, I'm going to cover the entire episode. I'm also going to give just my opinion on it and anything that comes up related to Heart and Hustle Houston, we'll talk about. Thank you so much for joining Sandra P's Gen Extra. I appreciate everyone that comes in, that stops by the live. If you do come in, please like the video. Team Replay already knows what to do, but also like the video. And if you find yourself watching and you're not subscribed, please go ahead and subscribe because you're going to see a lot of things on my channel. My favorite things are within pop culture. I'll talk about a lot of different shows, recap those, give my opinion. Also, politics. Politics is a little different. I aim for about twice a week on those. It's just general political discourse with Sandra P. And then also Sandra P is free to move about the cabin. That is, I'll do some traveling. And when I do that, I'll take you with me and just show different things where I'm at. Okay. So I appreciate everyone that has come in. Thank you so much. And we're going to get on with this Heart and Hustle recap. Let me see if I can put the ladies up here. We are getting ready. We're getting to know the ladies. And I've had a problem moving myself. I want to move it. That's not it. Because I want you to be able to look at the ladies. If I find a way to remove myself, I'll do that, okay? Because I love the fact that you can, if you're able to see the ladies as I'm talking about them. We have LeBrina to my far right. We have the beautiful Ro right next to LeBrina. Chloe is in a cream ivory dress. Latoria is right behind me. She's got one eye peeking. I'm sorry, y'all. The beautiful Elena is next to Muneera, who is on the end. So the other thing I love about this show is that we get to see every single one of the ladies in some type of a scene with them every week. I will say Munira has not been, there was a scene she wasn't in. The scene I started out with where they went to the single ladies dinner that Elena came because she's supposedly single adjacent, even though she's still married. So we'll hear more about that during this review because it was covered during this episode. Again, this is episode 6, Back in the Saddle. That refers to Latoria finally meeting a cowboy. LeBrina has introduced her to a cowboy. Latoria and I have questions on how she came up with Banks as a person to go on a date. I feel like if Banks had a son, maybe that would be a person to introduce Latoria to. Banks was a very nice gentleman. He was nice looking. He has his things together. He loves horses. We'll talk about that during the date. Latoria is at a different stage in her life. She's focused on her career. She's still very young. She's 35 years old, but she wants to have children. So Banks having a daughter close to her age, that's not going to work for us, LeBrina. But thank you so much for at least introducing her to somebody. Okay, since I was covering Chloe, I'm going to put this picture up for a while. You see Chloe down at the far bottom in the large hoops. I believe I'm covering up Muneera now, but you can see Muneera from before. Okay, so I will get started with no further ado. Sharon Godbelt, welcome in. Thank you so much. Sharon loves this show as well. We've been watching since the beginning. Again, this is their first season. They're halfway through. We're episode 6. It looks like they have a good 8 episodes. I don't know if they're going to get reunion or not. I hope they do. OWN usually does do reunions, so hopefully, I don't know how they'll do that. Someone from their production company, I guess. Because there are a lot of things that I'd like to know that we have found out during the course of the 6 episodes so far. So this is Back in the Saddle. And I like the music. And I'll say this about the show. They showcase Houston in such a beautiful way. They give shots of the city. They will always show the business that they're going into to kind of showcase the business. So we get to see Elena walking into a place where they're going to do pole dancing. She's invited all of the girls. We didn't see Muneera. Muneera, pole dancing may not be your thing, but this was a group bonding activity, okay? So they went in. I think the lady's name was Nisha that was teaching them. She was adorable, so cute. Of course, the body was a body. The body was tea, as the kids say, the young girls say. So Elena tells us that she uses pole dancing as a way to recharge her sexuality or as an outlet, because as she reminds us again, she and Josh are in separate bedrooms. So y'all, we're creeping up on where she's going to tell us more about it, but being so secretive but alluding to something, reality TV audience is just gonna, people are digging in y'all's business. They're saying all kind of stuff. I'm gonna watch the show and find out. I have my own suspicions. You're alluding to Josh broke your trust, so that would make him maybe a person who cheated, if not emotionally, any and every other way. Okay, so we don't get the details yet, but it's coming. I think they're gonna tell us last episode, but just keep in mind, people have already tried to dig and find out. I hope it gets renewed. I hope they get renewed too. I want them to be the #1 show on OWN. There's over 2 million people in the city of Houston. They need way bigger numbers than 200,000. I mean, that's enough for renewal, but I want to see them be the #1 show on OWN. I'm just speaking that into the atmosphere. That's for them. They really deserve that. So Latoria, that was changed. Correction. Latoria says that she can barely do the Cupid shuffle. But she's here, and I'm glad to see Latoria here ready to do pole dancing. I've never taken that class either. It looks fun. We see Chloe, who I assumed, I won't judge people. I thought Chloe would kill it. She had her stripper heels on, and she came in there. Now she had to take them off in the parking lot. Chloe, I'm you. But she came in there. I thought she was gonna kill it, but her pole dancing looked kind of struggling. Elena was working that pole like a professional. Latoria even noticed. Okay. Latoria said she's a superwoman. That's what Confessional Chloe says, that Elena is a superwoman. The pole dancing is working for her. And Latoria noticed Roe, who also had some moves on that pole. She said Roe's taking it seriously. She's got her hair tied back, and the 8 count is 80. So we will give an honorable mention to Roe and also Elena, who look like if they ever need to pick up some change, they could actually have another profession. I'm just kidding with them. But Latoria, who wasn't too comfortable, but there were points when the money came out, Latoria got a little bit more serious. So that was funny. And then Chloe, of course, Chloe has to go one step further all the time. She says that Elena might be a freak in the sheets. And nothing wrong with that. She don't have to wear that on her sleeve. She could keep it private for the people that need to know, okay? Latoria suggests that Elena takes the moves home and rekindle with Josh. I don't think that is their problem. If someone has been cheating emotionally or any other way, it's generally not the wife's fault. So there's something else going on. I don't think it's that Elena's not sexy enough. You didn't say that, but what you alluded to, I didn't care for. Nisha gives a little pep talk. This is after the class is over. She tells them what she's glad they came. She wants them to be able to find this or that in themselves. I can't remember the speech, but it was nice. Nisha, I hope your business grows by leaps and bounds. It looked like a lot of fun. The ladies all kind of fall down and sit down, and they start talking. Latoria lets us know that she has been invited on a date. LeBrina wasn't there either. LeBrina would have killed this. So we got LeBrina and Munira to set this out. Well, let me not say LeBrina would have killed it. I thought Chloe would, and she was struggling. So 2 ladies didn't come. They enjoyed the class. They're sitting down. Latoria brings up the date that she's going to meet someone named Banks. And she said, Banks with a big B. Of course, Roe is joking. Oh, I thought she meant a big D. I'm glad to see them comfortable enough to joke with each other like this, because we know first episode, if they didn't love that. Latoria didn't love some of the things Roe was saying. So LeBrina hooked her up, and it's a blind date. So she doesn't know anything about Banks yet other than his name, which I like that. Confessional Latoria says, can we get a yeehaw up in here? Yes, we can. I like Latoria stepping out and trusting a friend of hers to hook her up. I like that. So Chloe is saying that she can see Latoria with a lot of grown men. She's talking about salt and pepper. Latoria's a little wary of that. Like, how old? Pop? No, not pop, just a grown man. I see what Chloe means. Maybe 40s, but 50 and up is too old. I think late 40s is too old. So, and that's my age group. Gen X men for someone in their mid 30s, Latoria. I don't know. She may need someone in their late 30s as well, but of course, who has his head on straight, head together about his business, but can also kind of show her a little fun, just let her be less buttoned down. And we see the sadness in her. We know the reason. She has lost her father. That comes up later within a year. And she struggled during the anniversary of that. So there is someone out there for Chloe in Houston, and I think that he's on the way, okay? She said the men in the DMs, though, she want to know where their teeth is. So y'all really doing that? DMing these beautiful women with your side teeth out and all this kind of stuff? I don't understand it. I love Black men's self-esteem. I love that. But then that's also something that y'all need to work with. You see this beautiful woman online, you're going to drop in her DMs and show a picture where you don't have all of your teeth. She said it in a confessional. I didn't say it. She said it. So they all talk a little bit about what's going on. Latoya made a crack about what in the high cholesterol. Now, some of these older men are in better shape than some of the young ones. Okay. So we can't make assumptions based on a person's age, but just, go for what you like. Elena kind of ends the meeting up. She said, you ain't got to go home, but you're going out of here. She didn't say that, but there was another class coming in, so they had to leave. We get another scene with Elena, what sounds like fun original music playing in the background. She is bopping up to Color du Jour. That's how I would walk up to my business too, Elena. I loved it. And Elena's always so beautiful, she just looks like everything is together. That's why you can't judge a book by its cover, because she tells us in the confessional what's really going on. Okay, so she's excited about her new studio space. She says she's doing a lot to work on her brand. Of course, her first client within this new space is going to be one of her celebrity clients, Latoya Luckett. So she gives us the rundown of Latoya Luckett, talking about Latoya Luckett from Destiny's Child. That's just the beginning. I think give her latest resume. I know she's on Divorced Sisters, and I've seen her on so much stuff. I loved her on Greenleaf. When she came in there, toward the end, she was really good. So Latoya Luckett comes in. She is just beautiful. I mean, working on this face, you must get a real pleasure out of doing that, Elena. Not that there's a lot of improvements to be made, but I just love a canvas, because I don't wear a lot of makeup. I don't know what to do with it, but I know that you really love that. Welcome in, CCCC. The moderator came in. We were talking about Heart and Hustle, episode 6, Back in the Saddle, their first season. So we just had Chloe bop into her color du jour business, color of the day, color du jour business, her new studio space, which she showed us in earlier episodes. And Latoya Luckett is sat down in her chair. Now, Latoya Luckett, which I feel this about her anyway, not knowing a lot about the young lady personally, she would put somebody in like a little sis type space. She would serve as a big sis. And this is what Elena says. She's kind of a sounding board. She reveals, what do you think Elena revealed? She and Josh are sleeping in separate rooms. Okay, so Latoya already knew about that. And she said, oh, that's still going on. She started talking to her about it. She says, y'all not rubbing feet, at least rubbing feet. I don't know. I guess she thinks them being in the same room, in the same bed would maybe help them become closer again. I don't know. Whatever Elena needs to feel comfortable, because she sounded like Josh is the one that broke whatever trust he broke. I have an idea, but I'm not sure. So they are still in separate rooms. Elena said, well, they hug. And Latoya jokes that she says, everybody in Houston hug. We hug everybody. So production asked her in the confessional, after she alludes again about the broken trust, what did he do? She said, I'm not ready to reveal this publicly yet. I think somebody has already tried to spill the tea, okay? But I'm not going to listen to that until I know more for myself. I will wait. She was excellent in Greenleaf, Sharon. I didn't know that she was a great actress like that, but she was. I was so shocked when she turned out to be the one that was trying to sabotage the bishop's church. Bishop and Lynn had a lot of dirt on them, though. But I loved that family. I did. And Lynn Whitfield. I might go back and rewatch that. Toya said that they are operating. I wrote it down because it sounded profound. She says, you're operating on single mentality, trying to make a marriage work. How, Sway? Elena doesn't know how either. So she challenges her to ask for a joint therapy session with Josh. She's already asked for this. And Elena did say, again? She said, yeah, again. Josh don't seem like he want to go to couples therapy. I'm just saying with what I see, okay? He's claiming he's in individual therapy and he wanted to do that first. I can understand that. We find out later from Elena that he's only had one session. So is he trying to move back in or not? Elena says, okay, I will ask again. So Miss Sylvia comes to Latoria's home for a house visit. I love this. Latoria lets us know that usually they talk on the phone, but Miss Sylvia comes in. Usually they do virtual sessions. But sometimes you need a person there with you. So it was near the 1-year anniversary of the loss of her father. And she lets us know that she's struggling because her father was everything to her. She said he was the person that she spoke to all the time, her biggest supporter, her eyes, her ears. He was a single father and that they talked every day. So Latoria, our hearts go out to Latoria. That has to be hard. I lost my father as well a few years ago. He was 88. And your father appeared to be pretty young. She found him, y'all. He died of a massive heart attack. That's the same thing Chloe lost her husband from. So Black men, get your checkup. Okay, get your checkup. She said the hardest thing is being in this big world, just taking care of everything herself. Latoria talked about she will lay down alone, wake up alone. She has to make sure everything with everybody is okay. Her business. We see she has Rain, and then she does public relations as her business. She says her 20 clients. And they're celebrity clients, some of them. So Latoria really is taking care of mentally and emotionally, possibly other ways we don't know. She's taking care of a lot of people. So she needs someone that she can just vent to, talk to, get encouragement from. So I'm glad to see Miss Sylvia there. I'm also glad to see this circle of friends, I feel, becoming tighter, at least from what they're showing us. Latorria tells Miss Sylvia she thinks she's wifey material. And Miss Sylvia agrees. You are wifey material. And I agree. Latorria, you are wife material. Hold out for what you want. 35 is young. You know, you want those 3 children. If you have to freeze eggs or whatever, you're going to find, your husband's going to find you. Let me put it that way. So I love how open Latorria is with us. She says she hasn't had the opportunity of being properly courted. So I can understand that. See, I love it as well. I really like this show so far. Yeah, what they're doing with it, I really like it. Not too much mess. So she says she thinks the men might be intimidated by some of her celebrity clients, which sometimes men do that, and I don't understand why, because what would they have in common with one of her clients? Well, she says that they seem intimidated. They will compare kind of one of her clients to themselves, and she said that she don't compare what they might do at the bank. Now, Latoya, you might be a little sarcastic as well, which I appreciate and enjoy, but some of these men may not. So get to know them a little better first before you start cracking on them. Because some of them are kind of sensitive now, I have found. So she's open to trying new things. Miss Sylvia is still encouraging her, says she knows that she'll grow. She's going to attract what she wants. There's no homework this week because Latoria did her homework last week. There's no homework this week. This was just a check-in visit and make sure she's doing okay, facing that anniversary of her father. So we have Elena, who visits Munira in her beautiful home. Glad to see Munira. She missed a couple of events, so I'm glad that Elena is going in here to check on Munira. She declined to do the pole dancing class along with LeBrina. So we had confessional Munira, who's telling us that the schedules haven't really aligned, but she's glad they can meet. We are too. So they talk about Josh and Elena. Elena's checking on Munira too, and we find that they both have a lot in common, that they find that they are overachievers. They're having their own issues of having to be strong all the time, especially Munira. Munira thinks that comes from from when she was a child. She shares with us, as she had before, that her parents divorced young, but they were living in another country, I believe India, and the mother didn't want to raise her over there. Elena was asking her questions, and Munira was able to open up. The mother didn't want to raise her over there. Our father is African-American. I don't know if he stayed over there or not. Did he come back? But Munira and her mother came back, and they were living, y'all, in a basement with another family. I think she said for 6 to 7 years. So that's why Munira is an overachiever. She said that drove her to become the woman she is. We know she was an electrical engineer for 20 years, and now she's a full-time content creator. So I really like Munira and when she shares. Elena says in the confessional that she sees a lot of herself in Munira, and that's why Munira might have her guard up because she's so used to carrying the burden for other people. Now, Elena is dead on when she's talking about somebody else's business, but she has a lot of blind spots about herself, in my opinion, from what I'm looking at. And then later we see that her and Munira are going to clash a little bit. Elena, what's going on with that? The only one you should be giving smoke to is Josh, because he's too nonchalant for me. He looks like he's going into the principal's office when she asks him something. Talk to your wife. I don't like that. So confessional Munira told us about the childhood. We saw Chachi as a young divorced mom, looking beautiful. And that really scarred, I won't say scarred, but it really impacted and touched Munira, living in that basement with another family. So Elena tells us that the daughter's room used to be a pole dancer room. Maybe the pole dancer could help Munira. Munira declines again. She's like, no, thank you. So next we see Chloe. Chloe is getting her kitchen ready. She poured herself a glass of wine. We see Roe walking up to her friend's house and they hug. I love the way they all greet each other. They always seem happy to see each other. So we get a confessional with Roe, who's telling us that Chloe is the only one who she feels comfortable speaking to about relationship issues because she feels like she offers no judgment. She knows how to console her correctly, and she gives good advice. Chloe offers wine, water, or juice because she's out of tequila. So Roe declines. She's just taking water. That didn't ring a flag for Chloe, but I'm thinking Roe drank water last week. So I'm nosy. I was thinking about that. So Roe says she's not drinking anyway. Chloe said, oh, you must be mad about something. So she knew something was up, but not what. So we see confessional. Chloe says she's always glad to see Roe. She knew something was wrong the way she walked in. And so they're talking. She said, well, is it the boot thing? We find out Roe has been off and on with the same person for maybe 3 to 4 years. 3 to 4 years. She seemed like she wants a little more, but he's in the NBA and he may not be ready yet, or maybe so focused during the season, he doesn't make time. We find out more about Roe. She has mixed feelings. She knows she wants another child. We get a scene with her talking to Sylvia, and Sylvia kind of had a stank eye about whether or not there'll be a baby brother. And then there's a funny story where Chloe wants to know whether or not Roe had talked to Sylvia yet or not. And she said that she had the pregnancy test delivered, one of these delivery services. Sophia's outside playing basketball where we've seen her before and intercepts the package, y'all. And then she had questions for Roe. Roe heard her from outside talk about what? So I thought that was funny. So she said, Roe lied. She said it's a friend. She's bringing it to her. So now here she is at Chloe's house wanting to take this pregnancy test. Chloe said she need a refill of her wine. Me too, Chloe. She said if she's pregnant, they're going to have a shower to plan. That's just like a friend. She's not trying to make her feel bad or anything. She's talking about, we're going to have a shower. Rose saying that he's a good guy and he'll support her decision that she wouldn't date anyone that would be like, oh, you got to terminate. So I was glad to hear that because she's grown. She's a grown woman. And she says he's a good guy. He does help support her decision. If she did whatever she decides she wants to do, even though he doesn't know yet, they decide to take the test right then. I wonder if Munira or her man have any relationships with the local Indian community. I'd like to know that too. It seemed like Chachi would still be in touch, but I'm not sure how that would work or if they did, because the children are definitely, I don't know the percentage of them, but they have a full Indian grandmother, and then their mother is mixed with the two cultures. So they are as well. So they take this test, lay the two tests side by side on the kitchen counter. Come on, y'all. Chloe, come on now. She had them laying on a napkin, but and then they say that they appeared negative. They're going to go with the electronic one, which says negative. Chloe said, you saved yourself from a lot of unnecessary drama, which is true, but I don't know. Rose seemed like, she was going to handle it. Whatever happened, she knows she wants a boy, possibly, and she's in her 30s as well. She's young. She has time. I think she's around the same age as Latoria, but better to be in a stable relationship. So I agree with Chloe. So she says, well, now that you're not pregnant, we're going to turn up. Next time we're together, we'll drink tequila. We see Latoria walking into her date with Banks. She looked really pretty. She had a print dress on. It was all covered up. She looked really pretty though. So she meets Banks. He's the cowboy. So they come in. She said she's a hugger. They hug. And my notes I have, he's too old for her. So they're talking. A lot of their conversation is, what does he like to do? I like how Latoria just draws people in. You could tell she's in public relations. She says, what did LeBrina tell you about me? He was just talking a little bit back and forth. He said that, horse people kind of become family people. So I guess he does know a lot about LeBrina and Will, and that they are friends. But LeBrina, Banks is not for Latoria, okay? Banks may have a friend or a younger cowboy friend that might be for her, but he's not. And then we find out Latoria has a fear of horses, y'all. So Banks jokes that that's not going to work. Banks says that he spends 60% of his time with horses, 20% 18-wheelers, or 10%, something he said. Another 20% motorcycles, 10% on personal-ish. No, I'm seeing this is not for her. So as they continue to talk, she reveals to him, she says, well, he said, well, you date an older man because I don't want to look like the grandpa. Sharon's saying what I'm saying. In my opinion, he is too old for her. I think that as well. And I want women in their 30s to stop, some of them panicking and thinking, oh, Lord, I got to get married. 35 is young. If you want to have children, that's a little older, but there are steps you can take now. Some of them freeze their eggs. I don't know. There's things she can do. Don't rush into some old man who Banks doesn't want more children. I know he is pleased as punch with his 31-year-old daughter. He said he wouldn't date anyone under 31. That's a range, Banks. That's a range. He wouldn't date anyone under 31. She said, well, he named the things that he likes, which was the horses, 18-wheeler, and motorcycles. She said, what's your 9 to 5? He said, well, I drive 18-wheelers every day, but when it's mine, it's not a 9 to 5. So go ahead, Banks. Banks flex. He said he has a horse that he really likes. The horse was going to have, did they have a pony? I'm not sure. The horse was going to give birth within a month or so. He's excited about that. He loves palominos. He had one that he was offered $60,000 for. He didn't take it. Latoria, being Latoria with her business mind, said she might have had to hug the horse and let that go. He said the conversation was immaculate. He's nice. And I said, don't put this man in your man space. I wouldn't even go out with him alone. He would be like somebody you could, if he wanted to call you or you call him, I may not even leave that door open. I believe he's too old for you. He may have some cowboys that are around your age, okay? Because Latoria says she wants children, maybe even 3. And she still has time for that. This is a young woman. So confessional Latoria, still being sarcastic, says she feel like she's going to have to make a withdrawal, making a play on Banks. Okay, yeah, that's it. Don't go back out no more with him. So Roe is visiting Dr. Angela Jones. This is their second visit. Confessional Roe says that the first session went great, so she's here for the second session. I like how transparent and open Roe is. I feel like she helps a lot of people doing that. You take a button-down person like Elena or Latoria, there's so much going on behind the scenes that, I don't know, it's hard to walk around like that for me. But the commonality in all of them, they have shown that they will go to therapy. They'll go talk to somebody. And they talk to their friends. I love that. So Roe also says she likes meeting with Dr. Angela. She says because she feels like she's just talking to a friend, and it's not like she's talking to an older person who might judge her. My therapist she was slightly older than me, but I felt comfortable talking to her when I went to her. I need to make some more. Sometimes you can just have it to maintain. You know how annually you have to do your annual. There may be nothing wrong. You just have to check things out. So I haven't been in years, but I would like to talk to her again. This show does put that top of mind. There's nothing wrong with therapy or talking to someone. I think that's really important. We find out that Roe gives so much of herself that it is hard to leave something for herself because she's taking care of everybody. And Dr. Angela speaks of boundaries. Roe needs to set and keep her boundaries. She talks to us about that the relationship she's been in off and on for 3 years plus. She's put the man in front of herself, also puts her family in front of herself, which I can understand. Sophia is a child, but you have to take care, Ro has to take care of herself first. So she says she's dated basketball players during the season. They are so focused on work that you can't really tell them any problems because that's their career and their health and everything else. So I can understand that. Ro just lets it drop to Dr. Angela. She was talking to a friend when she thought she was pregnant. I noticed Dr. Angela's eyes go up like, why wasn't that the first thing you came in here with? So Ro made me laugh with that. She's saying that she doesn't have to just date a man because he can do for her financially or he can give her motion. She got her own motion. And I agree with that. She does. So she wants to stop numbing how she feels. And instead of putting problems on other people, she's been putting them on herself. She says she found out it's easy for her to be loud about the little things, but big things she might put on the back burner. So I don't think she is alone in that. And then she's crying, y'all. She's saying that she wants to be done putting others above herself. She wants to put herself first. So I hope she's able to do that. Even when she was pregnant, she said she was worried about how would it affect him? How would it affect Sophia rather than what she actually wanted? And she's rarely able to express and deal with her own feelings without thinking about how's it going to impact the next person. I think that's a Black woman struggle. A lot of us go through that. And then the ones that don't, they might be looked at as being selfish. I don't think that's selfish. On a plane, they tell you put your oxygen mask on first. There's a reason for that. Something happens, the altitude changes, and you passed out. You're passed out because you try to put it on your child first. What that child gonna do for you? And you passed out. So yeah, it's okay to take care of self first. Self-care. We've heard that on this show as well. I love that. So all this was carrying over into her love life, her friendships, her business. It's exhausting. That's what Dr. Angela told her. She's carrying other people's burdens and swallowing her own. Y'all, this therapy session was for the viewers as well. Rose says that is so damn dumb. Dr. Angela said that is not dumb. And it's not dumb. Putting others first is not dumb. Dr. Angela let her know that her empathy is her gift and it's her curse. So Ro and those of us that are the same, I'm an empath as well, it's very painful, especially when certain type people target empaths and they feed off you and feed off your energy, and it is exhausting. So Dr. Angela, I'm glad she told her that's not dumb. Her empathy is a gift and a curse, but she has to learn to listen to her intuition. So this was an excellent, excellent session. She said, learn to teach others how to treat you. So now we know that Ro, we like to see her taking care of herself first. And in doing that, she's going to be there more for Sophia, her business, her friends, everything. Y'all, if the comments switch off, I'll go back to them, okay? So then we go to Elena's home. She's writing in her journal. She calls out to Josh, not too loud, so his little room must be right there. He said, yeah, what's up? Like she's a roommate. Josh is a trip. He came in there like he coming to the principal's office, y'all. I want him to stop doing that. He should be excited to talk to her. So Confessional Elena tells us she found out that the individual therapy wasn't really taking place. He went once, I believe. So he comes in the room and looks at her. Elena asks, how are you experiencing everything? How are you feeling? This seemed to be a pattern. When they show us them, it's always Elena. When she called you in there, Josh, why don't you ask her how she was feeling, how she processing? And he said, I don't want to be in another room. I don't want our kids to see that. I think it might be better than other steps that might have remained to be seen. I'm going to put that on hold right now, my opinion on that. So I don't know the details, but if it is what I think it is, I understand. I understand what Elena is doing, okay? She says there are things that have been done to her that she could never do to him. She doesn't want to negate her feelings. She wants things to work. He's like, I don't want you to negate your feelings. She's looking at him. He said he's not asking her to negate her feelings. And she feels like he is. She said she doesn't think he always shows it, that he wants things to work. He said, I do. He got the puppy dog look now. Don't believe it, Elena. I don't. I don't think Josh wants to make things better. Yeah, I think that Josh may have seen other people able to have their cake and eat it too. And he thought, oh, I'm going to try this too. And then Elena wasn't putting up with that. Now he's in a separate bedroom and trying to figure out how to get back in there, but probably still keep cake and eat it too. And I don't think Elena wants to do that. So she's saying that she was pushing couples therapy. Is he still interested in doing couples therapy? He said, I've never been opposed to couples therapy. Thank you, production. They roll that beautiful bean footage. Josh saying that I want to do individual therapy first before I think about couples therapy. Josh, this was only 5 episodes ago. You can remember this. Elena, he says he has not been against, and she says, you have. Elena has a habit of doing that. She'll call you out right on the spot. You have. I've not been against it. You have. She felt he brushed it off. I felt that too, just from what I saw. So thank production for showing that. Elena says she's frustrated. She's not seeing what she needs to see to move forward. And she needs a lot more action, not just words. I sense that in Josh. He comes in, he'll give the I'm in the principal's office and you're scolding me look, or he turns it to the puppy dog like, I'm trying. I am. I don't know. I got to see more of Josh. Josh asked if she feels he's making efforts. She says he has, but there's been more steps backwards after he's made some progress. She's still not seeing what she needs to see. Us either, Elena. We just met y'all, but we need to see more from Josh. Confessional Elena says she didn't want to sit in the same place for so long. It is exhausting. And I understand that. She reiterated to Josh that she wants the couples therapy to help heal in places where he hurt her. She says from this point on, he's trying. He's like, I've been trying. From this point on, you're trying. That's right, Elena. Don't let them do that. He's sitting there rubbing his ear, smiling. He claimed he'd been trying to be all right. Something he said that I wrote down. Is this a tell? Because he was like, I've been trying, all right. So I don't know. She asked again about couples therapy. He looks right at her and said, I want you to be happy. I do believe him. I do believe he wants her happy. Josh, a lot of women are not happy with men being able to have their cake and eat it too. So if that's what you're trying to do, that's not going to make her happy, okay? Confessional Elena says she's relieved, but she needs to see more action. They're playing this song, You Never Know Where the Chips Gonna Fall. I like production in their song choices. So we see in a preview, we see a therapist asking Josh what he did that was messed up. Production already asked him. Let's see if he'll tell you, therapist. We see LeBrina asking Pop. Pop's got LeBrina's whole face. The 15-year-old, he is so cute. She's asking Pop, how do you feel? This is the preview, y'all. How do you feel? He said he thought he was a burden, so he'd remove himself. Pop, I wonder if he meant from his dad's house or from his mom's house or just remove himself. Y'all, I'm telling you, we saw what Nika was going through. Our young black men and young black women too. We really need to always check on them. So I'm looking forward to see what that scene is. We see Elena and Munira having a talk. We saw them, y'all, close and laughing together this episode, but they're going to go to Napa Valley. They're going on a girls' trip. Sometimes it goes down on these trips. So Munira is asking if Elena, she said, you know my heart. Elena's saying, I'm going to have to get to know you. Elena, I don't like that answer. You don't have to know somebody well to know their heart. You can see whether or not a person has good intentions or ill intentions toward you. And I haven't seen Munira do anything to any one of you ladies that would show she has ill intentions or bad intentions. So I didn't like that answer. Okay. So we'll see what's going on. I thought like the group as a whole is getting closer, all 6, the core 6. Okay. No additions. They're getting closer. And then there's little within the group, there are ones that can talk to each other. Like we saw when LeBrina was able to speak life into Chloe over their sons, that type of thing. We saw Chloe, Roe felt comfortable coming over there to take the pregnancy test, and they were able to talk. Latoria has had different times when she's talked to different ones. So I love that about them as a group, but I'm looking forward to the Napa trip and this preview, y'all. It sounds like LeBrina saying that was a stab in the damn heart. So this is going to be interesting. I can't wait to see Napa. I've been to California so many times. My brother lives out there. I have yet to go to Napa Valley, y'all. That's on my bucket list. So I want them to keep handling each other kindly. And Elena, don't start no stuff. And don't attack people because you're hurt. The only one I want to see you giving that smoke to is Josh. So this was a pretty good episode, y'all. This is probably another 9 for me because of all the therapy sessions. Some people may find it like too much talking or boring, but I actually like it. Cece is plainly spoken, so I'm going to read what Cece says. Elena needs to just drop Josh. Maybe she's working out leaving without him owning part of her business. Yeah, I don't know. I can't tell her that yet because it depends on what he did. I suspect what he did, but I don't know what he did. I'm hearing different things. I'm hearing that he has been outside their marriage, as in cheating, and also that there might be a little Josh somewhere that is not Elena's. I'm just saying, okay, allegedly, in my opinion, things that I've heard. I hope that's not true. But few women take the steps of separate bedrooms if it's just emotional cheating. Emotional cheating is bad. When you find people that get real close to people at work, like a work husband or a work wife, that may be emotional cheating. But then when you start the physical, that's a different thing. That's impacting her health. I don't know. There's a lot. You gave it an 8. Yeah, that is. I gave it a 9. You gave it an 8. Yeah, it was a lot of talking. We did get to see all of the ladies. I missed LeBrina and Munira in that pole dancing class. So yeah, there's a different reason why it would be. You gave it an 8. I gave it a 9. I'm just so impressed with the show, Heart and Hustle Houston. I want to see them the #1 show on OWN. Their own city needs to step up. I love when the show comes on and they're going to a different place. They show you different views of the city. They're playing independent songs. So this is a really excellent show. Excellent show, Heart and Hustle Houston. And I loved it. Thank you for joining Sandra P's Gen Extra. I appreciate my new subscribers that have come as a result of this show. So if you are available, generally I'll do it around the same time. I like 2:30 because I had tried Sunday morning, but I know a lot of people are in church or busy doing other things Sunday morning. So Sunday afternoon is a pretty good space for me to do a live review of this show, engage with the chat, and I appreciate everybody. If you are not already a subscriber, please go ahead and subscribe, press the like button, and I will see you in these YouTube streets. Thank you, everybody. Bye.